What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I just got off work and this GoPro Media Mod light is as bright as can be. It is blinding me, but it is probably going to help this video out so that you guys can see me a little bit better, so I'll deal with it just for a few minutes. I've been catching a lot of fish this fall. Now, I haven't really been fishing ponds or canals. I've been primarily going out to the lake, fishing from the shore and whatnot, but I've been catching a lot of fish. So I wanted to share the techniques that I was using. These fish during the fall to winter transition, I mean, these fish, they're just trying to feed and fatten up for the winter. Right before they move deep and you have to start fishing real slow with big jigs deep or Carolina rigs or whatever you like to use. But you're gonna have to start fishing deep once it gets winter time. So these bass right now, they're up shallow, they're chasing bait, they're slamming. I mean, it is really good fishing right now. Later in the day, they shoot off to about 10 to 22 feet of water usually. So that's usually what I've been catching them in if I'm fishing midday. I'm just gonna go over a few baits that I've been catching a lot of fish on. Now, a lot of them you guys are gonna recognize and be like, oh, well, I could have guessed that. But if you're a new fisherman and you're not 100% sure what to use, hopefully this helps you out. We're gonna start off, obviously, the spinner bait. Beginner fisherman, professional fisherman, everybody uses the spinner bait. One thing though, is I've caught more fish on the 3/16 spinner bait, which is a lot lighter than a 1/4 ounce. So for the rest of the fall, use a 3/16 size spinner bait. You're gonna catch more fish. It falls a lot slower, the presentation looks better because these shad right now, they're like 2 to 4 inches depending on where you are on the lakes. So the smaller the profile, the more that these bass are willing to hit these spinner baits. And I'm noticing I'm catching a lot more on these smaller profile ones than when I use a bigger profile like a 1/4 ounce or a 1/2 ounce. Next one. Again, you guys are gonna be like, well, of course, the square ball crankbait. This one specifically though, the bubonic square ball crankbait. You can find this. This is made by Ketchco. You can go on shopcarls.com and you can find these suckers. If you're a member, you get like 25% off or whatever, something like that. Very awesome crankbait. I mean, a lot of ways to catch fish. One second. So as I was saying, this crankbait is insane. You can kind of rip it and let it sit in the water column, and then once you rip it or you start retrieving again, I've gotten bit a lot like that because it gives it a quick pause and it starts floating back up. Or just a steady retrieval right along drop-offs, right along rocky ledges, flat. I mean, I've been catching them right along sandbars first thing in the morning. I mean, the fishing has been really good this fall. So definitely check out a square ball crankbait. You won't be disappointed. The hits on these suckers are incredible. The way these fish are hitting these moving baits, spinner baits, crankbait, I mean, they are thumping them so hard. These fish are really trying to fatten up before winter. Then next, you got the underspin. This is a basic Bass Pro underspin, and I've been using a little craw as the trailer. And I think, honestly, the reason why I'm using the craw and I'm getting more bites with the craw is because the double appendages kicks up more water and just allows more vibration going through that water. And then you get a little bit of vibration and flash from the little willow leaf blade. It is insane. Very awesome technique. I mean, I've caught so many fish on this. The top is finally ripping and I need to replace this sucker. So definitely check this sucker out. This is a 1/4 ounce. If you like, you could go lighter. I probably should go lighter with a trailer this size, but you know, the 1/4 is all I have right now, so I'm using the 1/4, still catching plenty of fish on it. Don't be afraid to try a craw or even a creature bait as a trailer. A lot of people just want to stick with the little Swimbaits, the 3.3 inch, 3.5 inch, 4 inch Kitech Swimbait, stuff like that. Give a craw a shot, give a creature bait a shot. You're gonna get a lot more kick up in the water and those fish are gonna be more attracted to it. Next, this technique everybody uses, the T-rig, the notorious Texas rig. But specifically, the watermelon red from Zoom, you cannot go wrong with that. I mean, you can use any brand. You could use Zoom, Yum, they all work. But this specific worm right here, this little finesse worm, 4 inches, it is insane. This one is a watermelon with black flake. I personally like the red flake a little bit more, but I've still been catching a lot of fish on this watermelon red with the black flake. How I'm rigging this is obviously a Texas rig, but I am not using a bobber stopper. I just put a little 3/16 ounce tungsten weight on. I tie my hook on, little size 2 EWG hook, and I hook this bad boy up, flip it up against any sort of rocks. I've been flipping it right up. I've been flipping this sucker up, right up inside sandy beaches. I mean, the fish are eating this like absolute mad. Now, I don't pull this technique out until later on in the day because the fish from sunrise till about 8 to 9 o'clock, they're up close. They're chasing the bait. They're not really chasing bait up top or anything like that, but they are chasing bait just enough to where with all those moving baits, you're gonna catch plenty of fish. I start using this sucker about 9:30, and then I start using this until about noon. And for that 3-4 hour period, you really slay fish with this little sucker. Don't be afraid to try small techniques, smaller profile baits, and basic techniques. A lot of people try to overthink fishing this time of year. You don't need to overthink it. These fish, they're active. I'm telling you guys, they are moving, they're chasing bait, they're hungry, they're trying to fatten up, they're going to eat, and that's it. I mean, I've tried so many different techniques, as always, but these 4 techniques are always a great go-to and very simple go-tos. I have one last thing to show you, but it is in my car, and that technique has been slaying as well. Left my keys. Alright, finally, we're back. And the last one is the Nico rig. So, all you have to do, you can go in your hardware box and grab a little tiny nail. Go ahead and put the nail inside any worm of your choice. I don't care if it's a finesse worm, a Senko. I've just been using the finesse worm this time of year because just a little more action seems to get those fish to hit even more aggressively. This is an 1/8 ounce nail head weight. I push that sucker right through this watermelon red zoom worm. You then put the hook right through that sucker, just like that. And then it's gonna go down and it's gonna stand up on the bottom like this. And when you're popping it, it's creating that motion like this constantly, and you could keep this thing in one spot for a long time, kind of like a drop shot. Just keep popping it in that same spot so that if you think there's a fish around that rock or around that structure, you could pull that fish off it, no problem. Just quick little overview of those 5 techniques that have been working for me. Very simple techniques. Anybody can do it, whether you're a beginner or a professional. I mean, anybody can fish with these techniques, and they all work. So I'm going to run through them just real fast again so you could get a quick little look. Again, the 3/16 ounce spinner bait. This is a Booyah. As you can see, got 3 little willow leaf blades on it. Kicks up a lot of flash first thing in the morning. This bubonic square ball crankbait, insane little crankbait, moves really good color, and has just enough flash in the water to get those fish to hit. Then you got the underspin. And I mean, you can use any trailer that you want, but like I said, little tiny craw, little tiny creature bait has a lot more appendages than just one little paddle tail swim bait. So I mean, a lot more water disturbance, and you catch a lot of fish on that. So don't be afraid to try different style of trailer. I mean, even try a lizard. I've caught fish like that before. 4-inch zoom worm, basic Texas rig, 3/16 ounce tungsten weight. I use tungsten because it's a smaller profile and easier for the fish to be able to eat the bait and get around. Then you got the Nico rig. You could definitely go lighter than an 1/8 ounce nail head weight, but I just have that because that's all I was able to find. And that Nico rig, when it's bouncing like this on the bottom, I mean, if I were a fish, I'd be eating that dang thing all darn day. So I hope this helped you guys out a little bit. I tried to keep my mind straight, but you know, with this light blurring in my eyes for the last like 10-15 minutes or so, it is making me lose track of what I'm trying to say. So I hope it helped you guys out, and make sure you guys go check out my previous video to where one of you lucky winners will have the opportunity to win this awesome combo. We are only like 28 subs away to me giving this sucker out. This is a Team Lose custom black combo, very awesome. One of you lucky winners are going to be able to get this sucker, and I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys who are hopping on board to my channel. I mean, we're growing really quick, and it's a blast to see the growth on the channel, and it's all thanks to you guys. So thank you very much, and as always, we'll see you guys next time on Southwest Fishing.